Welcome back to the Jam with Lamb podcast. I am your host, Anthony Lamb, guitarist for the death metal band MAUL. Today, my guest is a good friend of mine, Evan Wood. He is the guitarist extraordinaire in the band Walking Phoenix and a few other bands around the FM area. Evan, it's great to have you, bud. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, just a pleasure to be here, bud.
First things first, explain in your own words what the band sounds like if someone was about to Google you guys.
For the kind of stuff that we have released, our first album's a bit more of that kind of mixed bag Americana kind of stuff. We have some stuff that gets a little bit heavier, and then we have some stuff that's a little soft and a little bit more into the ballady side of things. But if you listen to our EP, it's a bit more of the, I'd like to think of it as just kind of like anthemic kind of rock, alternative rock that's coming out of things. And if you're listening to this after we've released new stuff, then it sounds like us.
Awesome. First things first, Eagles or Chiefs?
Oh, you're talking about for the bowl, huh? Well, because they cheated out the Texans by paying off the refs, in my unofficial opinion, I gotta go Eagles.
Nice. Did you play football in high school or anything like that?
Oh, I'm the least athletic person ever.
Were you in any sports at all? Or?
I tried out for the golf team.
Sure.
And I didn't even make JV.
That's funny.
As a backup.
I was in golf because I actually had court-ordered anger management.
So they said golf?
And my therapist recommended golf.
Oh,
and,
lovely.
It was funny because I was like, this is a horrible idea. And I love golf. It's literally one of my favorite sports. I mean, I'm not a huge golf fan. I can't be named pros by any means. I know Tiger Woods. But it's I don't know, there's not much better than just getting the boys together or the family together.
Go pop out on the course.
Hit a couple balls.
I've worked out on golf courses for many years in maintenance, and I just love going out to the course myself.
I see the appeal, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the first guitar you ever had? What was your first guitar?
Oh, so the first guitar I had, my dad got it for me when I was 9. Because he just had this premonition, I guess, that I would one day pick it up and play it, and it was a Montana 3/4 sized acoustic.
Nice. You still
nylon
have that?
String. My parents do.
Oh, nice.
It has burn holes in it from when I tried to relic it with a lighter and held the lighter too long on it.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's funny.
And I think if I remember properly, it's tuned to a weird chord with the same strings from 10 years ago.
Nice. My first guitar was actually a little 3/4 guitar as well. I didn't really use it to learn guitar. Actually, I kind of hit it over Garrett's head when we were backyard wrestling. I tried to learn it for 2 days, and then I didn't start learning guitar until a couple years after that, actually. But technically, that was my first guitar.
I'm in the same boat. My dad got it when I was 9.
This is my first guitar, the First Act, red
lovely.
First Act that I am taking the stickers. I'm gonna redo this guitar, but
oh, dude, that thing's mint.
I'm gonna sand it down and just stain it, basically.
Oh, dude, go ham.
Throw some different pickups. I mean, those are bare knuckle humbuckers, actually.
Hey.
Those fucking pickups actually. The guitar itself is not great, but cool. What guitar do you use now?
I back and forth between a couple. I have 2 custom guitars that I play a lot of the time. I have my newest guitar, which is my John Mark Guitars custom creators model. I think it's called. I used his Meridian, so it's an offset 3 P90 loaded, roasted maple neck, pine body, gold beast. I absolutely love it.
What you said it was gold?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
If you took a Jazzmaster and an original non-reverse Firebird kind of style shape, and then you just slap it all gold, and then you just check the heck out of it.
Nice.
It's gorgeous. And then I have a custom Gruber Telly that I've been playing for better part of 5-6 years now, I think, which is I think people most associate me with around the FM area. And then I have a red SG, Epiphone SG, that I just...
Classic.
Oh, so good.
Old, reliable.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny, my Epiphone... Do you know where your Epiphone was made? What country?
Yes. I know where both of my Epiphones were made.
Which ones do you have?
So I have a Epiphone Les Paul Custom, the black and gold.
Yeah.
That one was made in Korea.
Sure.
And then this SG that I have was, I think, Japan.
Sure. My Epiphone Les Paul Custom is I'm pretty sure mine was made in Indonesia. The ones from Taiwan aren't really as good, I find. Like,
I've heard stuff like that, like they're hit and miss.
they're just, the necks just kind of break.
Oh,
Like,
really?
I don't know if it's the way they're assembled or what, but it's like, yeah, the necks at the bottom of the neck towards the guitar is what cracks.
Oh,
I've seen it a couple times. Mine's starting to do it now after like fucking 12 years. But I mean,
you beat the hell out
beaten
of that
the crap
thing.
out of that guitar. And it's funny because like on mine too, like I literally have a crack going down the fretboard. I have a crack like towards the top of the
Wow.
headstock now. Like it's definitely, any show is going to be its last, but it's still pretty darn solid. I really vouch for the Indonesia builds because they're fucking tanks, dude. I've definitely hit that headstock against many things, like the wall. Last time we were at the aquarium, like normally I stand by the edge of the stage, not by where the wall is.
Yeah.
I was by the wall and I fucking
Right into the wall.
hit the guitar right, like I don't even know what the hell I was thinking, dude. I straight up just right on the top of the head, and I've watched like the headstocks of those Les Pauls like pop right off. So I was like, huh.
I've seen a couple of Les Pauls fall off of a chair, and the headstock it looked like it wasn't even attached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. How about, do you remember the first person you ever witnessed play guitar?
Live.
Like just the first person you saw playing guitar? Could have been your uncle, Joe Bonamassa. Who
You
was it?
know, I actually don't fully remember. I mean, like, I remember seeing old, like, live videos of the Beatles.
Sure.
I think The Who actually stands out when they were on, I forget what program it was, but it's when they played My Generation
Yeah.
and just destroyed the entire set afterwards. I think that's one of the first, at least, guitar videos I think I ever witnessed someone actually playing guitar, and I kind of honed in on it a little bit more. Other than that, like, it's so hard to say. I've been playing guitar for so long now that I can't even remember the exact time.
How about, if you were to give advice to like someone that's thinking about playing guitar or just started playing guitar, what's some advice you would give for a beginner?
So I teach in my spare time, and I try to always make sure that everybody knows whenever they tell me that they're thinking about starting or when it's their first lesson, the number one thing is picking up the instrument.
Yep.
So whatever it is that makes you pick it up, there's no gatekeeping. I feel like there's for a long time in guitar education been gatekeeping that stopped a lot of people from really playing. Like, oh, you have to learn your scales. You have to learn a G chord and a C chord.
Yeah.
You don't have to learn that stuff if you don't want to play that stuff. If you want to just jump right into shredding, then let me teach you the stuff for shredding. And so that you pick up the guitar to do for like any beginner. First off, I have a lot of people who are usually in their 40s and 50s who are like, "Oh, I always wanted to play." I'm like, then just do it, man. Like, just
Never too late to start.
Get any guitar that you think looks cool, and then just sit down and start learning whatever you want to learn. If you want to play at the lake, go learn a couple country tunes on any acoustic you think looks cool.
Yeah.
If you want to start a band and be the next thing, get whatever guitar inspires you and. Start messing around.
Great tips. That's one thing too. Like I feel like a lot of guitarists, early on, people get frustrated, and then they think, "Oh, I can't do this." You can.
Oh,
it just
100%.
takes time. You're not building a brick house in one day. It takes brick by brick, and if you're having a really tough time, sometimes the best thing is to just put it down, cool down, take a little nappy poo, try it tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Always, as long as you try tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's always what I say. If you pick up the instrument every day, you're bound to get better.
You're doing a lot more than some guitarists out there. I'll tell you that.
Yes, amen. Myself included sometimes.
Do you do like a big portion of the writing in Walking Phoenix, or is it kind of like how is the writing process for the band?
So the bands, we've tried different things for our writing process so that we don't get too stagnant and we kind of explore all our avenues. So we've had things where Jaden's come in. Jaden's our singer, and he's already written the chords. He already has the vocals and the lyrics figured out, and he just goes, "Here's what I want," and then we just try to make it happen with our touch. And then we've other times where Tor's brought in a bass riff and we go off of that, or I come in with a guitar riff or a chord progression, or even just off of a drum groove. We'll just start kind of jamming on it, and this is an idea. Let's just keep rolling, and Yeah, we try to explore all avenues and not try to restrict it too much.
MAUL is definitely, we jam a lot.
The thing that we've been trying a lot lately is Jaden will have lyrics.
Yeah.
And a melody already pre-figured out, and it's just, okay, let's figure out what key he's in, let's figure out what kind of vibe we want, and trying to build around the vocals, which I think is one of the harder ways of writing a song sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, and this isn't a smack on anybody, but it's hard to already sing in key.
Yeah.
Let alone without any instrumentation. Trying to work that kind of stuff around and, kind of reverse engineer what they're doing is definitely a challenge, and I think really rewarding when you get it right.
So are you originally from like the FM area, or?
Oh no, I'm not from here at all.
Where are you from?
So it's a long-ish story, but I'll give you the short version. So I was born in the UK.
Sure.
I was born in Oxford.
Oh man, so you're getting deported, brother? I'm just kidding.
Oh man. It's definitely been a joke. That's a fact.
That's funny.
But so I was born over there, and I wasn't there for long.
Were you born on like a military base?
No, so my father was a chef.
Oh, okay.
And we had business friends who wanted to open up stuff in the UK, so parents moved over there, had me.
I had a cousin that was born in Germany, like on the Air Force, like on
a base.
So it's like he was born on a base. But.
Yeah. But so no, I was born in the town proper, as they say. And then no, we moved over here on the day Diana died.
Oh wow!
Like when they left the UK, she was alive.
That's not sus at
and
all.
We landed, and then she was not alive. And it was
crazy.
Wow. But then raised in Houston for until like 3 days into freshman year of high school. Then I came here.
Oh, okay, cool. So. Where did you lived in Houston proper, or some kind of
Bel Air, which is a suburb within the center of Houston.
So like growing up in Bel Air, did you see any like shows growing up around there, like local-ish type bands? Do you remember? Or
not really.
When did you start going to kind of like underground shows?
When I came here. Nice. When I came up here, I think I was, it had to be late freshman year.
Sure.
And I was, me and Jake of Meat Shoe and IMC.
Shout out Meat Shoe.
And whatnot. He was my first friend up here, and he and I were doing music, and I think he heard about it or I did, and we both were like, "Oh, we're going to the New Direction, whatever that is, to see a show," and hooked immediately. Shout out the New Direction, TND for life.
I found the New Direction because I was booking like my own gigs already for like my band, and someone kind of put me onto the New Direction. It was only $80 to book it back in the day. I mean, you had to get on like the calendar, and all the good dates were taken. So it was like, I was like, hell yeah, dude, $80. Back then that was quite a bit of money, actually. I just thought that was like, oh man, wow, a space I can rent for $80. That's not a fucking community center, you know?
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with good old community center, brother. But literally, like one of my first shows was in the Monona Community Center.
The thing I always thought was so great about that space was my first band with Jake was called Blackjack, and we did like an assortment of like 60s, 70s, 80s, all covers. And we're in high school. We're sophomores in high school. And we booked this show thinking like, oh man, no one's going to come. And there were just regulars of the New Direction that showed up that were like in the punk scene and the hardcore scene. And they were like, no, you guys are awesome. And we were just like, oh, dude, these big adult guys with, studded leather vests said they were cool.
I remember one of our first gigs at the New Direction was back when it was the Red Raven, was with the Suit.
Oh.
And, getting on a Suit show was like a big deal.
Yeah, man.
Because like it was packed. And it was funny because like, you remember the Suit. They're like pop punk-ish. I would consider them pop punk. With a little tad bit of metal core in there.
Yeah.
A dash of metal core. But like...
healthy amount.
Yeah, I would say they were more pop punk. But I just remember their crowd, like... we definitely had people there that were like stoked on us, but like, majority of their crowd was like, "What is this shit?"
Oh yeah,
what are these guys doing here?
There was we played a show with oh man, I can't remember their name anymore. That sucks. They went on and played the Red River Valley Fair and then opened for Five Finger Death Punch for a tour. I can't remember their name. They reminded me a lot of Breaking Benjamin, but I can't remember what their name was
like
now.
Perfectly Still or Opposition Out.
No,
They're kind of from Minot, but
they were wrapping up their tour, and this was their home show, and they were set to headline the New Direction. It was a 5-band set, and we were the ones who were set to open first, and they bumped us to the headlining spot for fun.
Yeah.
And so by that point, the whole place was packed with all their fans. Chaos in Question. That's what it was.
Yes. Oh, man. I haven't heard that one in a while.
I know, right? But then, they had just like packed the New Direction, and they had this cover band open up, or that was set to open, headline. Mm-hmm. And dude, that's what got me, I think, hooked on playing live.
So, I mean, just a little transition here. A little fun fact for all those listening. I actually DJ'd your wedding.
Yes, you did.
Is there anything you remember about your wedding that was kind of like a funny moment that you kind of remember throughout the night? It doesn't have to be about me. I'm just saying, like, in general, like, was there anything you kind of randomly will think back to your wedding day about?
I'll think back to a lot. That was a perfect day. You did a great job.
Thank you.
If anyone's interested, please. This is a honest Google review here. Please book him. No, I'll remember a lot, but the thing that I think I'll remember, some of the things I'll remember most, I wore a kilt for my wedding. Yeah. And when I ran out with like the procession or whatever to present, Mr. and Mrs., I ran out with my wife, and my whole thought was I'm going to dip my wife on the dance floor and I'm going to kiss her. Mm-hmm. But I hadn't practiced dipping in a kilt, and I didn't know what to do. And so I just squatted. I just had this super wide stance squat, looking like I'm about to drop something in the middle of the dance floor. That's always going to be, because I have so many photos of it. I'm just always going to think, man, that was awkward looking, wasn't it?
Funny.
But honestly, I remember so much of that night. And it was
I have
all
like
so
a
fun.
snapshot of photos of us at the end of the night where we're kind of like hugging and saying goodbye and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure you like go in to like kiss me on the cheek. And I kind of like pulled back, and you can see your wife's eyes. She's like, "What the fuck?" It's so funny, dude. It's literally one of my favorite pictures. Oh, I still have that on my phone. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those pictures that's so awesome.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I stole your husband.
Yes. No, that was a. Oh yeah. I was very happy with how the whole night went. So I was feeling the love.
Yeah, it was a great night.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that's awesome about like weddings, and like, I mean, obviously like the luxury of knowing each other. You know what I mean? I love doing weddings, but it's like when I can help out actual homies and like I know the crowd, it's a whole different vibe.
Oh yeah.
Because then I don't have to, not like I'm putting on an act per se, but it is an act. You know what I mean? So being an entertainer, being an MC, there is like a showman effect of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am slightly different than I normally am, but it's like just more amplified, if you will, with the jokes and.
Well, and there's moments. Everybody has their off days. Even entertainers do, where sometimes you kind of have to phone it in a little.
But it's like when you're doing a homie's wedding. I never think twice about what I'm about to say in the mic, because it's like I know people are gonna be chill,
and I know I'm obviously not trying to plug you. I'm not trying to, but people who went to my wedding don't even mention anything about me at my wedding. They just say, "Dude, your DJ was awesome." That's all they say, and I'm not exaggerating. Funny. That's all they talk about. They're like, "Dude, he did this goal. Greatest Showman intro." Yeah. I'm like, "Yeah, he did. It was cool." Do you remember my kilt? Like, you were in a kilt? Yeah. Oh man!
I actually use your guys' pictures on like my website and like some of my promo materials. So thank you.
Oh, gladly.
For taking beautiful pictures.
Oh, of course.
Cool. If you had to redo anything about your wedding, what would you do?
Oh, that's a great question. It's I don't. The only thing, and it's not really a regret that I think is too big. I wish that we had lucked out on having it either earlier or later.
Sure.
My sister had her second kid, like less than a month before the wedding date.
Yeah.
And she lives down in Houston still. And they were like, yeah, there's no way that you can get away to go to the wedding. And so my sister my half sister came to the wedding, but my full blood sister wasn't able to be at my wedding, and I really wish she could have been there. So I wish she would have been like 2 months after or something like that, and then she could come up, and it's not the end of the world potentially.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things of like, it's nothing to do with the day. Yeah. It's nothing to do with anything that happened. I also wish I had more champagne. Yeah. Oh man, there's so much wasted champagne I could have drank.
Do you have anything like coming up, like show wise, or releasing any new music soon?
We're in the middle of writing. We've been taking a fair amount of time to make sure that whatever we're writing and working on is gonna be a banger and gonna be something to really make us grow. Yeah. We're trying to really make it with this band, and trying to put as much effort and time into the songs that we're writing as possible. We have a couple shows already booked out for the spring.
Nice.
We have a show at the Aquarium in April on the 11th, and then we have some shows in Fergus Falls in June and July.
Happy to hear you saying that, though. Taking your time and writing the music is very important. I am a big believer in the riff. Like, it really all starts with the music. Everything else branches off of those roots. Like, the tree grows from the music itself. So it's like, if you're not putting in the time to make sure the actual music is there, I feel like it's a lost cause not to. You know what I mean? Like, you can definitely tell bands that are just putting more effort into like marketing themselves than they are writing their own music. I feel like sometimes, and it's like it starts with the music.
And especially like in this age where a lot of people just release a single and then promote it for a lot of time, and then another single, and they never really do an album. I'm always a big believer, and I've always been a believer in the idea of an album being a thing.
I feel like with that, it kind of depends on the genre.
100%.
I feel like in metalcore, singles are definitely the thing.
Oh yeah.
But in death metal, albums are the thing.
Yeah.
Like, death metal listeners want to listen to the whole fucking album front to back. They want it to be like a cohesive, it's almost like a movie. You know what I mean? And it's funny because like when I write personally, I don't really go into it thinking like, oh, I'm going to write 50 minutes of this vibe. I write songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then what we do a lot of times is we'll write too many songs.
Oh.
And then we'll take the ones that suck, quote unquote, that we don't feel like are good enough for the album, and then those two songs are the songs we'll put on a split or like release as a single. You know what I mean? Just so you have always something in the chamber.
But I like our American Dreams album. We wrote an intro and an outro, and it really kind of like encapsulates the whole album, even though the whole album isn't exactly one vibe the whole time. Obviously, they're all individual songs. You can start the album at the beginning and listen to all 55 minutes of it, and you go, that felt really complete. It felt like there was a beginning and end to that whole album.
Who do you guys like have? Sometimes in bands there's like sub jobs within the band. Like someone's in charge of the social media, someone's in charge of making design work. Who does like the imagery of the band, or do you guys kind of outsource that?
So the imagery and like photography and stuff's usually been Jaden. Sure. Jaden takes care of that and a lot of the website work that we have going. And similarly, like our shirt design, whatnot, is usually him. I did work with the booking for a decent amount of time, and every now and then if we need extra help with booking, I'm that guy. But then usually I'm the guy who keeps all the merch in order. The valuables, the things that try to,
the fun stuff.
The numbers, stocks, inventories. Which I always feel like you guys do great. Like, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it's like you guys are always having your graphics ready for your shows and your tour dates and everything. And,
I mean, it's definitely...
And photos from shows.
We kind of like outsource a lot of our design work through other artists. Like Vinny from Fobo does some stuff for us. He did some stuff recently. Aaron, actually, from Fobo did our logo.
Nice.
All logo was actually Aaron. We originally went through Joshua Decker for our OG logo, and then we just kind of like... I remember Aaron kind of made us up a little mock-up, and the OG logo that he made was actually, it was like our logo but compressed, like skinny. So I just kind of widened it out a little bit, made it more square, and boom, there it is. And I really like the new logo.
I love your.
We have been talking about making like another one for fun, and I kind of want to do like a that kind of like 80s speed metal looking Megadeth. It
Sharp
looks like,
angles.
Yeah, it looks like a metal thing. Anyways, I think it would look, MAUL would cater to that pretty easily. You know what I mean?
If only you guys did a special release of the MAUL Death Sauce with that logo on it, because
maybe
I need another hot sauce to collect, please.
We're working on getting another batch of sauce. It's a process.
Oh, I hoard them. I buy like 2 or 3 at a time, and they last me 2 years.
My secret sauce actually is I take half of the MAUL sauce and I use it in like a chili. So I'll have like half a bottle, and then I fill up half of that bottle with Cholula. So it's a half Cholula, half Midwest Death. That's the lamb sauce, actually. If you want the real MAUL sauce, it's half Cholula, half Midwest Death. But
dude, that's
because our
awesome.
sauce is very chili based, so it works well with making chili. I feel like it just definitely it's got like a slow creep about it in chili, where it's like you take that bite and then you don't really feel the heat for like 10 seconds, and then you're like, oh shit, what have I done?
Oh, dude.
But
whenever I've been sick, spoonful of that.
Yeah.
I do just one, just fill up a spoon a little bit with it, and then just down the hatch with the MAUL sauce, and then I just sit on the couch and let it take me.
Yeah.
And I just ride the wave.
Yeah, that's funny. Gosh, who came up with the name for the band?
I believe Jaden did. I don't know if I can't ever really remember another name being
thrown out.
Like standing a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think we had a couple, but Jaden mentioned that, and we all just were kind of like, oh, it's funny. Mm-hmm. But it actually is good. Like if you just subtract the actor Joaquin Phoenix, and you just take it by itself, it's pretty good.
I literally didn't even get that till right now. I'm not that's super funny.
Well, that's great. Hey, name stands alone by itself if it wants.
That's so funny.
Because so the whole premise behind the name. So Jane came up with it, and we were like, yeah, but it's like the actor.
That's so.
And we were like, well, a lot of people can't spell the actor's name.
Yeah.
They can't spell Joaquin with a J, and so they'll type in that.
Yeah.
And if nothing else,
it's kind of genius.
We'll teach people the first thing that pops up is, did you mean the actor Joaquin Phoenix? And so we're like, well, if we go with this name and people type it in and we're the first thing that pops up, then we made a semblance of success. And then also we're teaching people how to spell the actor's name properly, so they stop accidentally streaming our music.
That's funny. All right, we're about to pull the plug on the podcast here. Evan, thank you so much for joining me today, bud. Is there anything you would like to plug before we pull the plug?
Love your neighbor, love music, and check out MAUL and Joaquin Phoenix.
If people are trying to find your band online, how would they do that?
We have a website, WalkingPhoenixOfficial.com. We have Spotify, every single place you'd stream music. We're on it, as well as on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. We don't post anything on Twitter, but we're there.
Nice. When's your next show?
April 11th at the Aquarium with Harbor and Home.
Awesome. Well, that's about it. Thanks for joining me, bud.
Hey, happy to be here, brother.
Hope to have you back.
Yes, sir.
Also, don't forget to check out our Patreon at Jam with Lamb. We're going to have some cool behind-the-scenes footage, some extended episodes and commentary with certain guests, and then also some videos of me actually jamming with the guests and going through some rig rundowns, things like that. So if you want some extra content and you want a little more deeper dive into a certain artist, you can find that over at the Patreon. Once again, my name is Anthony Lamb. Thank you for tuning in, and keep rocking.